Welcome to the Sylvania Ram football program. That's the way I like to bring everybody on. We got a little video of the sidelines up at Geraldine post-game, Coach. We'll bring Coach Wilson in on a minute, but Coach Vann, it's a big victory Friday night.
Huge win, man. We talked about it all week. This is a game you got to have if you want to control your own destiny and you're not have to rely on anyone else to do anything to help you out to get a home playoff game. Like, you have to win this one, and we won that one, and it's huge, and we control our own destiny. Now we have to string together some wins down the stretch to seal it up, but I'm proud of the effort we played with. I'm proud of the guys who stepped in for some injured players and played hard, played their guts out. I'm just proud of our football team and the staff, and it's just a big win.
Coach Wilson, welcome in tonight, buddy. We've been waiting to have you on for a while. Glad to have you here tonight.
Appreciate y'all having me.
That win Coach Vann was talking about wasn't without some challenges. You had to move some people around. Y'all had to be improvised a little bit with some people going down. Thought the kids answered the call pretty well that stepped up to play.
Yeah, they practice hard. Play hard for us, So number 3 at quarterback come in there in the third quarter. We only had the ball 3 possessions in the second half, and he was in for all 3 of them. Drove us down the field for 1, and then also the last drive we were able to run the ball down the field and score as well. But proud of number 3, proud of the multiple guys that stepped in on defense to help us out with 21 and 25 going down, who got most of the preparation reps going into the game against Geraldine. But a bunch of young guys stepped in and played hard, and that's what I love about our program and our football players, man. They don't care who it is. Doesn't matter who's hurt. In the long run, in their minds, it matters. Of course, it matters, but we also know that the next guy's going to step up and play their tails off, and we're going to find a way to win the football game.
Big win, as we talked about. We'll have some highlights later on. Coach Wilson, on the sidelines Friday night, the kids all looked excited. They all looked up. What was the pregame like? Was it just as off the hook as it looked?
Oh, yeah. Our pregame is awesome, and I think we can be like that because of the way we prepare. Coach Vann does a great job making sure the staff and the players are ready to go. And when you do that on Friday night, that's the funnest day of the week. Monday through Thursday's the prep, and then Friday's just another day for us. And then that's when we get to go and have fun. And trust me, yeah, it's a blast as it looked for sure.
Coach, Vann, before we get into the game, and Howie, I'll come up to you in a minute. Thank you, Coach Wilson. Let's talk about 3 a little bit. And you've talked about him throughout the year that at some point you would need him. And he was a quarterback, and he was a leader. And this was the time and place that the football team needed in the second half of this game.
Right. Yeah, he's prepared the right way. I've never questioned his arm strength. His arm strength has actually come a long ways in 1 year. Last year at this time, he was a freshman. His hand was smaller. We wasn't getting a lot of velocity on the football. He worked hard in the offseason. His hands gotten bigger, which naturally to be able to grip the ball better. But he's also spinning it and throwing it really well. He makes, today we struggle with some reads when he was rotating in some. He's a smart kid. He's learning it, and being able to be thrown in and then getting more reps in practice, because you never know when he's going to have to go back in and play in the game on Friday. He's doing a really good job, and he's getting better with it. His steps are not always perfect right now, but he's working on getting better, and I'm proud of him. Proud of the way he works. I'm proud, of the way he comes into meetings. I'm proud of the way he prepares, and I'm excited about the future with 3 in there as well. I'm proud of both of my guys in the quarterback room and the way they was able to play. 9's doing a really good job. I hated that he went down, but because of the way 9 leads, he was able to help 3 in what he done. And when 3 did well, 9 was there to dab him up and tell him good job. They're good teammates, and they both play really well.
That's awesome, Coach Vann. Coach Wilson, as our guest this week, you have a very important job.
All right.
We don't want you to get run over on the sideline. You can't get injured this week. We cannot have another guest go down. So your job is to keep your head on a swivel this week and don't get hit on the sideline, okay?
I'll do my best.
break the Randy and Howie curse right now with you?
Well, I believe when Coach Clark was on here, his tire blew out like 2 days later. So my head's on a swivel for the next week. Trust me.
Howie, Chaney, see if you can change the momentum of this around.
Coach Wilson, I call you the Coach Energizer because you're up and down that sideline. Where do you get all that energy from?
I think that's just a passion for our players. I always think back to November, December, February, whenever it was, when I was asking them to get under a squat bar and go through heck. So I think back to now that we're in the season, all their hard work pays off, and watching the way they've prepared and watching things pay off for them. That's just a blast for me. So it's just 100% passion. Trust me.
I tell you what, when a big play takes place, you're running up and down the sideline, going crazy. You're losing your Sharpie. You're throwing stuff around, not realizing it. You wear me out just watching you, man.
That's it. Well, that Sharpie, I've wore it since the Ohatchee game, so I can't lose that Sharpie. And then when I found out Coach Clark was the one that had it, it was a big relief. I think it's sentimental to me right now.
Right. So, Coach Vann told us that you're the one that's in charge of the music at practice. So how do you decide on what's going to be played each day?
Well, when I took over the weight room, some advice someone told me is that don't care about the music you like. Play the music that the kids like. I'm not the one under the squat bar. Coach Vann or the other coaches aren't the ones that we're asking just to put themselves through misery for an hour and a half. So whatever they want to play, we play as long as it's clean. Coach Vann's good with it. It's on the kids. Now with that, you got the diversity of the rap in the country. So I guess it just depends on which kid I pick to ask what they want to hear today.
That was going to be my next question because it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. Coach Vann came on and said y'all had a bad practice because you had country music on. So who do we blame for that? He blamed you.
Well, it really depends. If I go up to an offensive lineman, they want country. If I go up to a skill guy, they want rap. So it's really just which one meets me at the fence first on the day of practice. That's what gets played. And then when he gets mad about the music, I just throw my hands up and go, so-and-so's wanted it. So.
Coach Vann, what do you got to say about that? Now he's putting it off on your players now.
Yeah, always pointing fingers.
Coach's job right there.
Yeah.
Friday night, coming out of the locker room, you looked at me. I was walking to the field with you. You looked at me, and you had that look on your face after receiving a not so well greeting from the official right before halftime. And I said, "How's it going, Coach?" And you just looked at me like I was crazy. And then you got that little grin on your face. And you're like, "You know how it's going." So what words did you say to get the magic flag thrown out?
Oh, this is a G-rated show. We don't know if we can go there.
But I've got to do a better job of my use of words. Like as far as I say, God dang. And I actually learned that and it become a habit from Don Jacobs. Don Jacobs used to say it all the time. And then he had our whole staff saying it because it's a habit. And I need to quit because it can be portrayed as something that's terrible. And that's not what I'm about. But that's what the ref thought I said. Didn't say that. And he come back to me later and we both apologized to each other. And he said he did mishear me. But either way, I was getting a flag. He kept telling me he was going to get a flag. If you lie to me, and there was multiple things that led up to that, and then when I ask a question and you say something and then somehow it gets changed, I don't really appreciate you lying. If you just be straight with me from the start, don't change someone's call. I knew we was going to have troubles with that association. I don't care to say it. I told them we was going to have trouble with them, and we had trouble with them. That's just how it is. So that's why
Coach, go ahead, finish. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
That can be. I don't say you use it to be effective, but sometimes you need to use it to be effective and get some attention. And are there times that you let that go just a little farther on the sideline? You might get a flag.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes it'll get your players' attention a little bit. But I've never used it for that because most of the time my guys are playing hard. They're ready to play. They're good. But if I feel like we're getting robbed or something's happening for more so on purpose. And I wouldn't call them out to that extent right now, but sometimes it feels that way. And sometimes I let my temper get away from me a little bit, and I need to do a better job of just saying, as my pastor would say, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I need to say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus a lot to keep from saying stuff I shouldn't and just walk away. But sometimes I feel like they ain't giving their guys a chance. And they work. Listen, our kids work extremely hard. You need to call the game the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? Don't do anything on purpose. But I really, we have different associations in the state. I use Greater Sand Mountain. I think they do a really good job. Do we always get the best calling at home for us? No, but I don't want that. I don't want, when you come to our place, us get all the calls. I don't want that to happen. I want you to call it like you see it. And I think our association does a really good job of it. And I think other associations across the state and the one right down the road does a terrible job of it. And you can talk to coaches that don't use them, and they'll tell you the same thing. So that's all I'm going to say.
I've seen it. When I have my game I do on Friday night, you can tell when you have a good crew and when you have a bad crew. Sometimes it's that obvious. Coach, I want to get a little bit to the game, and Howie, I'll come back to you in just a second. There's a moment in the game, and I've watched it on the huddle and I've read about it in the newspaper. There's a moment, y'all are up 6-3, and Geraldine hits a big play, goes up 10-6. Is that not a key moment in the game? Because I really thought that we played well in the second quarter after they went up 10-6.
They go up 10-6. We actually dropped the ball there. Had a chance to move the football there before we gave them the ball back. Ended up punting it. It was our only punt of the night. We could have kept the drive going there, but when you lose a lead like that at any point in time in a game, when you lose a lead or you fall down, 7-0 early, no matter what it is, there's a choice your players make, and there's a decision you make. Either you're going to lay down a little bit, you're going to feel sorry for yourself. This went bad, or whatever it is. And you always are anxious as a coach to see how you respond. I don't ever question how we're going to respond. I know how our guys are going to respond, and it's when we face adversity. I've bragged on them a million times. I'll continue to brag on them. I think we do a better job when adversity hits us in the face. I want it to hit us in the face early because I think our guys' answer is really good. And our guys answered the call. We fell down 10-6, and our guys answered the call. And real quick, I know I was hard on officials or whatever earlier. We have a shortage of them, and I'm thankful for the ones we have and what they do. I just want them to do things, how they see it, not based off who pays you the bills. So if I don't pay your association, I don't use you. That don't mean you don't call for us. I want it just to be fair. I just want it to be fair across the board, but I am thankful for the guys who do it. And I want them to think I'm bashing them. I really thankful for the ones who are out there that's still calling, because we can't have a football game without them.
Coach, and question to follow up. Coach Vann, a good official is like a good doctor or a good attorney. You don't know they're a good doctor or a good attorney. You just see the end result.
Right.
And that's the way officiating is. You don't know if it's a good official or a bad official. At the end of the night, when you look at it, you know without asking a question. Coach Wilson, we were talking about that key moment that they go up 10-6, and Sylvania comes right down the field and answers. What was the sideline like after that touchdown to make it 13-10? And that seemed to be a point in the game that the kids just kind of felt it and took a little bit of control of the game.
Yeah, I think our sideline played a big factor in that. When our defense was coming off the field, kids are giving each other high fives, letting them know we're just going to go right back to offense and do what we do. Biggest thing I remember is our offensive line. Hearing guys like Will Gannett, Kyle Shankles, and them talking after the big play. We knew we could run the ball on, and we knew we were going to be in the right play call. And so as I was hearing them taking the field, that just gave me the confidence knowing that, hey, we're okay. We're right where we want to be. And then, like I said, our sideline was energetic and encouraging the whole night for our team.
Big part of it. Chaney, go ahead, buddy. You run with it for a minute.
Yeah, Coach Vann, I want to go back to the flag situation. I heard what you said at halftime. It's 100% true what you just said. But overall, flag-wise, you did better, except for 3 plays against Geraldine, and that's when they shifted their whole offense. That's you that you've never seen them do before, or what?
No, I mean, I don't even know how many times we practiced it last week. It was a bunch, yo. I mean, I got tired of seeing the shift in practice. I mean, it was the scout team did it every day, multiple times a day, and I bet we didn't jump off sides one time in practice. And then we get in the game and lose focus a little bit, or we're ready to go. You know, a lot of times it's just their answer. They're ready to play football. They're ready to fire off. But at the end of the day, their hand's not down. They're doing a shift. So, whatever. It is what it is.
Let's take a look at that. I was so intrigued by this shift. I actually video clipped it a little bit. Let's look at one of their shifts, Coach.
Come on, D up front.
Coach, is that 100% for distraction, or are they trying to? I mean, I don't know. We got a team in our area that does the same thing.
I think it's multiple reasons.
Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I think they do it for multiple reasons. One, to do what we just did and jump off sides, or we didn't then, but we did a couple times throughout the game. But I think the others make sure you're going to shift with them and get line back up right on the other side, because you see them changing the call. And if we didn't shift and we didn't bump our front, we actually switch with them, then they're going to be, have you outnumbered on one side. So there's a few different reasons why I believe Davis does it, Coach Davis.
Go ahead, Mr. Chaney. I just wanted to follow up since we had the video clip of it.
That's fine. Me and John Sills was standing down there after the first time, and Coach Vann had a smile on his face, and we thought that was the first time you had saw that. We didn't know that they had done that previous games, and you saw that on film. But
I was smiling because I was like, how in the world did they jump off sides when I got tired of seeing it in practice? That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, that answers the question about the smile there. But then the second time they done it, there's no smile there. It was a grim look on your face. And you got the man over here, Coach Wilson, every third down is short, fourth down is short. He's hollering eyes on the ball and jumping up and down, running up and down the sideline. And he does a great job as far as seem like he's coaching the defensive backs and everything. Coach Wilson, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, actually, that's from Coach Willingham. He does a great job with the defensive backs. And to kind of add, I helped kind of lead our scout team during practice, and even I was tired of Coach Clark putting shift in the script. That's just me being on the offensive staff. Just kind of the role I took on when we were on the defense side of the ball is just yelling eyes, and that's pre-snap, post-snap, just making sure your eyes are where they're supposed to be. So start with that. Eyes are on the ball. Then once the ball snap, putting your eyes in the right spot. Make sure you're reading the right keys and stuff.
Overall, I felt like the defense played great during the whole game. Of course, I'm not a football coach. I don't know, but you got 3 turnovers against Geraldine the other night. That's huge. I mean, that's a big difference in the game right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Compliments to Coach Clark on that. I thought sitting in the meeting with him on Sunday that they had an absolutely great game plan going into it, and the defensive coaches did an outstanding job. I know from the scout team, they did a great job preparing for them that week, so shout out to those guys. They go through a long week to get our team ready, so shout out to those guys for sure.
Coach, I'm sorry, you talked about Coach Clark. Coach Wilson, let's go back for a second. I should have asked this at the very beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from and all that. Randy kind of overlooked that.
Yeah, no. So I'm from Huntsville, Alabama. I went to Buckhorn High School. Grew up coach's kid. My mom's a teacher, so I kind of grew up everything Buckhorn, everything football. And I guess how I got with Coach Vann is he was the quarterback's coach at Buckhorn my senior year. And then when I got done playing, I was easily not good enough to go play at the next level. But coaching is all I knew I wanted to do. So I went to our head coach about 2 weeks after my senior year. I said, "Hey, coach, I'd like to shadow just 2 coaches." And he said, "All right, who?" I said, "Our strength conditioning coach and Coach Vann." And so after school every day, I'd meet up with Coach Vann and I would watch him. He was just the quarterback's coach, but the hours he would put in it's December and he's already meeting with the quarterbacks for the next year. So after about the first 2 weeks, I knew Coach Vann was the guy I wanted to work with and be around. And then as a player, me and him always had this inside joke that I could beat him in golf, and I still can. Don't let that get overlooked. So I went to play golf with him that summer, and I remember this moment clearly. We were sitting there, and he kept looking at his phone for some reason. I kind of felt disrespected. He kept looking at his phone for some reason. And I know where he just looked up and he said, "Hey, if I get this head coaching job, would you like to come coach with me?" He said, "I don't know if you're going to be a good coach. I think you will." And I kind of didn't really answer the question then. And then he calls me about 2 weeks later, and he said, "Where are you coming?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I got the job. So let's go." I said, "All right." So 2 weeks later, we were at Woodville High School, and then I guess the rest is history. So
Good deal. I know all the kids really like you, appreciate you. They talk about you on here all the time. You can see Randy shaking his head. Yeah, it's great having you at Sylvania. I know the kids love you to death, and being a young fella, some of the young ladies that's graduated a couple years ago, they're kind of fond of you as well. So, anyway,
I have the same problem,
Yeah.
I have that problem. So
yeah, I just try to get on your level now.
yeah. Got to work on it here. It's 6 years of working it to get.
No, but to add to that, the Sylvania community, the student body, the staff, they've been absolutely great since I've been here, and I'm really appreciative. And they've opened up a young kid who's, living on his own for the first time in his life. They've done a great job making me feel welcome, and I love it here. So look forward to many years.
Coach Wilson, and Coach Vann, I'm going to make you a compliment. I'm not good at this, but that there's an energy about that guy. I mean, as soon as I interviewed him the first time, I was like, I got off the phone with Howie and I said, "Man, I want to be involved with Sylvania and Coach Vann." You've got the same type of energy. Is that just God-given?
Yes, sir. I believe so. I was very similar as a player, just passionate. I mean, that's really just the basic way I'd put it. I'm passionate about what I do. I may get too hype, I may get too mad, but I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So it's just God given, I guess. And I don't try to hide it.
That's perfect. Coach Vann, get back into football just for a second. And we'll come back to Coach Wilson in a minute. Coming out of that second half, they return a big kickoff and pull close to you. That could have been a huge momentum change for Geraldine.
Yeah.
Well, I heard. Well, you tell me the story. What was the sequence there?
The first part of the sequence was the flag before half. And then they mark off the 15 yards. So we're already kicking from, what was it? 49, 25.
Yeah.
So we're kicking from the 25, and we miss 4 tackles. And we'd have. I'm already upset because I've got a 15-yarder. I'm already costing us. We've already put the emphasis on we got to be better on special teams against Geraldine this year. We was terrible last year. That's the only thing that kept them in the game last year. And then I get us a 15-yard penalty, so now we're kicking from the 25. And then the kick's good, and Jody done another really good job kicking. And we missed 4 tackles by 4 guys I trust a lot. And they break off the side and then end up getting down to the 19-yard line. And then we don't get lined up right on defense 3 plays in a row at a half. And they punch it in on a run around the right end. So, it is my fault. I take the majority of the blame for that. I don't take the blame for us not getting sneaking lined up right. We it's worked. We talked about it at halftime, and then we failed to go out. And I'm not going to call the kid's name or the number or anything like that, but we failed to get lined up out there. We got outflanked because it was 2 different guys that got lined up wrong. But after that, I guess they needed to see it not work again, and then they realized they need to get lined up right, and they did a better job the rest of the half. But started out bad there. We're giving them good field position. I mean, you start a team at the 19-yard line, chances are they're going to find a way to punch it in. So I'll take the blame for it.
Coach, the fact that first 5 minutes of the third quarter, you hear any coach, any clinic, they always talk about win that first 5 minutes. They have some success early in that first 5 minutes. As a staff, are you aware of what's happening coming out of the half? They've got some momentum. We need to answer here. Or is that just not part of the ebb and flow of the game for the staff as you're play calling?
I knew coming out of half, it's 20-10. We need to find a way to get a stop right here, score again, and we immediately make it a 3-score game. We make it 27-10. So we extend our lead, make it a 3-score game, and then we make it really tough on them, and we almost make them almost one-dimensional the rest of the game more so. They can't just run the clock, run the ball the whole time, because we was doing a pretty good job against the run. Out of half, they score, they make it 20-17. So we get the ball back. First play of scrimmage, we run black, yellow, Q. We run counter pretty much left with a quarterback with faker cross. Quarterback keeps it. We don't have a wrapper. If we had the wrapper, as Leo didn't wrap. If we had the wrapper for the mic, we're in a big play. We're in a really good play. We're probably at out of half. It's probably a 20 or better game for number 9 for a quarterback. It's something we saw at halftime. Coach Lee did a really good job with. We saw it. We went straight to it. And we failed to route. 9 gets hurt, gets hit on the side of the knee. So then that's when 3 comes in the game, and he makes 2 or 3 throws. Our line does a really good job blocking on that series. It's like 9 went out, and we just upped it from then. And as far as our intensity and stuff, and 3 come in, made some throws. We ran the ball, and we went up and made it 27 to 17, and that really set the tone there. They get the ball back. We get a pick 6, 34-17. The rest is history. Our guys did a really good job. But one of the biggest plays in the game, or sequences in the game, is we get the ball, and I think they make it 34-24. And first play from scrimmage, we fumble it, and they have the ball on our own. 30. So our defense stands right then. It was 34-24. Again, adversity hits. We get hit in the mouth. Watch what happen. Our guys step up. We get a stop. We get the ball back. We drive down. We make it 41-24, and that did it. But that was a huge stand by our defense. I think that may get overlooked a lot, but that was, in my opinion, the key possession, because if they punch it in right there, they make it a 1-score game. So our guys did a really good job.
Well, Coach, you did WQSB. You were on the radio, and a great interview, and you always represent Sylvania well. And also in the Southern Torch interview, I've got my notes. You've brought up the defense 3 different times, and that's just that's a bonus for this team when the defense plays that well in the second half.
Defense played really well. I think your defense has the opportunity to be a really good defense on that side of the football. I think we're really good with the run game stuff, and our DBs are getting better. Kind of gets overlooked at our DBs making strides, because we ain't playing a team that's just throwing it a whole lot. But when they are, we're in the right place.
Right.
And this week we'll be tested on the back end a lot, and I'm excited. Our DBs should be excited. You have the opportunity to show how far you've come in a few weeks, and so I'm excited about what we're going to do right now. But our defense has the opportunity to be a really good defense. We just got to keep getting better, And we're dealing with injuries. We got guys hurt. We'll have different numbers in different positions this week for the 15th time, feels like. But I trust them, and they're going to go out there and they're going to give everything they got. And win, lose, or draw, I'll go to war with them anytime. I'm proud of them, and I'm ready for this Friday night, because I'm ready to see who the guy is that's going to step up that we wouldn't expect to again this week. So
that's awesome, Coach. You just gave me, that's about my 15th skill bump of doing this show, so I just got them. Coach Wilson, Coach Vann said it better than I could, but you working that strength conditioning end of this, when you hit the fourth quarter, that's where that work they've done all summer and all spring and all winter really pays off. Those extra that do you feel a sense of pride when you see them in the weight room and then you see them perform on the field like you did in the fourth quarter of this game?
Oh, absolutely. It takes me back to summer. We actually have a deal during the summer. We do it at least 3 to 4 times a summer. It's called fourth quarter drill. And it's about 45 minutes to an hour of just getting after it. Field drills, sprints, all that good stuff. And it's in the and
hold on, let me check one setting here.
Yeah, I think it may have been Howie.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Coach Wilson.
Yeah, so that's what gives us our sense of pride in the fourth quarter to go and dominate our opponent, because those 4 fourth quarters that we did in the summer, I'm sure every kid watching this right now is shaking his head. They remember them well, because it's 45 minutes of just absolute heck. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely – it's not really a sense of pride for me. It definitely should be a sense of pride for the players, because that's their work that they put in. And then when you look across the field at another team and they've just simply given up and you're ready to go and you're just absolutely dominating, absolutely, there's a sense of pride there for sure.
All right. Coach Vann, hey, welcome back, Howie, Chaney. Coach Vann, we've talked about over the summer, part of your job as a head coach is to coach the coach. Tell us a little bit about Coach Wilson as a coach and where he's grown since he's been at Sylvania and what he brings to the program. And you can talk about his golf game. I can mute him if you want to bring it up.
Yeah, well, I think it was last summer. Maybe the summer before we kept score. How many times we won, and I had to lead him. And he did beat me once or twice, but for the most part, I took care of him. So that's okay. No, we so when we first was at Woodville, when I hired him at Woodville, and that was something he talked about a lot, like he wanted to be strength and conditioning guy. It's something he has a passion for. He obviously has a passion for coaching the game of football, but that's something he really loves, is weight room stuff. So we actually had I had a program that I really liked, that I believe in. And we've talked about it on the show numerous times with the chart and how we superset and auxiliaries and everything that we do. I believe in it, and I'm never, no matter where I'm at, I'm not going to change what I do to that extent. All right, but Coach Wilson came in and we did a lot of the auxiliaries and stuff that I like. We did the pre-circuit, post-circuit type stuff, and we did the same stuff all the time. We got to Sylvania for the first year or so. We kind of did the same, a lot of the same stuff. And then Coach Wilson really took over, I would say more so this past off season, with implementing different auxiliaries and different things that he feels like is going to help our program. And I gave him, free reign to implement a lot of it. But he does a really good job of working with me and telling me what he likes, what he don't like, and kind of talking about what he wants to do and why he wants to do it. That's always my first question, is why. So if you're going to ask me to do something, you better have a belief behind why you think it's better than what we're doing. Why do you think it's going to help our kids? And there's always an answer behind it. That's I think Wilson's a bright young mind, and he don't just rely on knowledge he already has. He's a knowledgeable young man, and when you continue to look stuff up and you continue to listen to clinics, when you continue to listen to podcasts, when you continue to talk to people, and you're always expanding your knowledge. That's a sign of a bright young coach, because I'm never going to know everything. He's never going to know everything, and everything's always changing. Someone's going to come up with something that's a little bit better, and we got to do our best to make sure that we're on the up and up, and we're always developing new ways of doing things. And kids don't want to do the same thing all the time, but I think Coach Wilson does a really good job with their kids, working with their kids, relating with their kids, but also being a coach and them respecting him. There's a fine line between it. and it's a hard line to walk. He does a really good job of doing so, and I'm proud of him. I'm glad he's on our staff, and he has a bright future ahead of him. And we're going to keep him at Sylvania as long as we can keep him at Sylvania, but it's going to be tough to keep him around forever.
Coach Wilson, that's a heck of an endorsement from Coach Vann.
Absolutely.
I also got a comment here from friend of the show, Jason Corbin, talking about pregame warm-ups and your motivation and how you just have a sense of energy around you. Coaching that pregame, as you're getting ready to take the field, that height doesn't seem like you have to pretend. It's just who you are.
Oh, I'm ready to roll. Once the yellow Red Bull gets drank, it's a whole different level. It's a whole different level to go. Trust me.
That's great. Howie, Chaney, up to you, brother.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, Coach Wilson makes me tired just watching him on the sideline, running up and down and all that. Coach Wilson, did you ever play basketball? Because I've seen you jump, do the chest bump with the players. You can get up, son.
Oh, I never played basketball. I think I'm pretty good at it. A few of our players know my skills. They're pretty bad, but I enjoy playing it.
Well, you thought you could play golf too until you played with Coach Vann too. So there you go.
Coach Wilson, what challenge is it? Howie, and I'll come back to you. You brought up a good question. What challenging is it to be a younger coach? Coach Vann's very young. Y'all are all young compared to me. I'm 56. Y'all two add up, and I still got you. But what challenge is it? That respect that Coach Vann just talked about as a young coach. What's the challenge, or is it just integrity that the kids?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. For me, it kind of goes back to actually Coach Vann's answer to your question earlier. It's about your reason behind why you do what you do. And for me, when we were at Woodville, we were doing a drill one day during the summer, and I remember I was, doing me. I'm loud, I'm screaming, and I remember stopping the drill and I had not really introduced myself to the players at this point yet. They really had not known me well. I kind of just went out there and started coaching. And I just, for about 30 seconds, just told them why I was here. And I think when a player sees, because I truly believe in the statement, nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. So for me, it's 100% the players just knowing why I'm here, why I'm coaching them. It's not an ego thing for me. I'm not here to up my coaching career. I'm not here for any of that. I'm here because I truly believe that these 4 years for these kids is some of the best years of their life. And the only thing I want to be is a positive example and a positive influence for something they can look back on. So, and then once the kids see that's how I coach and I approach the day, each and every day, I kind of just think that the respect thing falls into it. It's not something you look for. I think it's just a way of life and a way of coaching.
Very well said. Howie, back up to you. Sorry to interrupt you. That's great, Coach Wilson.
You're fine. I'm ready to transition to this coming week here. I don't know if Coach Vann is or not, but I'm not going to say the team's name, but you know who you got this week. Tell us a little bit about them, what you expect from them.
Well, really good football team. They're ranked number 4 in the state of Alabama in 2A. And I ain't gonna mention. They believe. Our guys believe and know it's going to be a war, and we're excited about it. We've been in wars all year, and we're excited about the opportunity to go over there to a really good football team, to a really well coached, good football team that they're having a really good year. They're 4-0. They're a top 5 team in the state of Alabama. And that's all I've been telling our guys. They're a top 5 team in 2A in the state of Alabama. And if we don't go over there ready to go, we're going to get our butt kicked. Now, do I think our guys are going to be ready to go? For sure, 100%. I think they're ready. I think our guys are hearing it. And it's like I told everybody. It's like I told WQSB, and it's like I told everybody else. Everybody's going to pick against us again this week. And we want it that way. Because nobody respects the amount of work that our guys are putting in. And if they want to pick everybody else, that's the way we want it to be. Because we want to prove ourselves every Friday night. And that's what our guys are going to do. This Friday night, when everybody picks against us again and everybody shows up to that stadium and everybody thinks that Pisgah, who's ranked number 4 in the state of Alabama, is going to kick our tail, our guys know that everybody thinks that. And that's fine with us because we want to go over there and no matter what's said outside of these walls, we know what's said, we hear it, and we let it motivate us. But at the end of the day, we're going to go over there and we're going to line up and we're going to play sound football, hard as we can go. I about said so much. Sound football, hard as we can go for 4 quarters, whatever that score is at the end of the day. It is what it is. But I can assure you this. We're going to go over there. Regardless of people saying we may not show up, whatever it is, we're going to go over there and we're going to line up and we're going to play football for 4 quarters. And our guys are ready.
Coach Vann, this is, you being from North Side Mountain, this is a big rivalry between North Side Mountain and Pisgah.
Mm-hmm.
For Sylvania, it's not a huge rivalry, but you got cousins playing against cousins. You got church members playing against church members. So that's got to be some motivation for your team.
It is. They're motivated. And again, and like I tell our kids, they are not to say a word. We don't ever predict what we're going to do. And when we hear that other people are doing that, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear. That's fine. We're just wanting to play football. We're excited about it. I know I keep harping on it, but it's a non-region game. A lot of people think we're not going to take it serious, or people may think that it don't matter. It matters to these guys in this locker room because we're trying to go 9-1, and we can't go 9-1 without winning this Friday night. We're going to do everything. We prepared the same way. We've lifted the same way. We ain't changed anything. I don't care who's hurt, how many's dressing Friday night. The 11 that's out there on that field, no matter who it is going to give everything they got. And they prepared the right way so far this week. We got to finish up the preparation tomorrow and Thursday. But we're excited about the opportunity to play a really good football team in a non-region that, listen, they run spread, and it's something we've got to get better at. And it's something that when I scheduled it, if you look at our schedule, we don't play a lot of spread teams. We got Westbrook Christian coming up later in the year. And then name somebody else that runs spread. There ain't many. We played Sachs, we played Piedmont, Pisgah, and Westbrook. And I know we're going to see it in the playoffs if we can take care of business and get into the playoffs. So it's something I know we got to see. But right down the road, it's a big game on Friday night for this community, for their community. It's why you play high school football. Friday nights like this one, where you're close to each other, communities are fired up. Kids are excited. That this is what high school football is about, and I know I'm excited. I know these kids are excited, and we're just ready to play football.
Coach Wilson, coming from Buckhorn, coming to this small town, small community stuff, how have you adjusted to these rivalry games of people, like I said, are cousins playing against cousins, church member against church members, and some of these kids probably even went to school together at Henniger, and then when they got to a certain grade, they had to split apart. So what was your first reaction to this type of game, Coach?
Yeah, come from Buckhorn, it was more that happened once a year. We'd play Hazel Green once a year, and that was kind of what you say, everybody, the communities love it. And then coming here, it's every other week, with Plainview, Geraldine, Pisgah, it's all the time, and I love it. And, kind of to add what Coach Vann said, when I look back on my playing days, the games that don't come to mind weren't when you went against an 0-4 team or a team that was 3 hours away. It was when, you're going to a place that's 4-0, and I loved when the other teams were fired up. I like being the underdog, and, like I said, at Buckhorn it was once a year. Here it's 5-6 times a year. So I love it.
Okay, Randy, it's all yours.
Well, I got to apologize for something. I tried to star a comment from a special fan, and I ended up blocking her. Coach Vann's wife, Hannah. The block was accidental. I was trying to start your comment. Coach, you've got great support there, and she's always showing support. I was like, I think I just blocked every on the team. So if you're in trouble tonight, it was my fault.
Your fault, right?
I might have messed up that play a little bit. Coach, you're talking about Pisgah, and Coach Wilson said it so well. All the goals are still intact. This is outside the region, and sometimes I think outside the region, especially when it's in your backyard, becomes just fun football, and you can just go back and peel your ears back and go after it. You talked about playing at Buckhorn, playing Hazel Green, and coaching your playing career. Is there times that you just know it's out there and you can just leave it on the field and feel good about it?
Yeah, this is one of them weeks. Like we can't. It's a big game in the fact that if we do slip up later down the road, if we can find a way to win this Friday night, it helps us out with tiebreakers a lot because of their wins that they're going to have, the amount of wins they're going to have. They're on 7, 8, 9 wins, whatever, 10 wins, 9 wins. If we can find a way to win, I don't know how many they'll end up with, but we'll get them wins, and then we'll get sacks. We already secured the sacks win, so tiebreakers look really good for us. If we can win this football game. Now, if we don't, it puts us in a kind of a situation where, we control our own destiny, period. And we can win out, we'll be fine. But it's a big game if we need the wins, if that makes sense. But it's also a big game because if you're a winner, you just want to find a way to win the football game. And when you're going up, listen, Pisgah is a good football team, and they're well coached. They do things the right way. So if we're not ready to play, it's going to be tough on Friday night. So we got to be sure that we're ready to play against a really good opponent that's going to make us better.
Coach, not to overlook it, but Friday night's also midpoint of the season. Is this a point that you as a staff with Coach Wilson, Coach Clark, and the rest of the staff have a small evaluation period? We're halfway through the season. Goals are intact. Here's the backside of our season. Is it not a time that you lay out just a little bit of let's see what we've done well and need to do better in the back half of this year?
Yeah, I actually ran the reports this morning on our offense from all 4 games up to this point. I'm going to be sure to break every single tendency this Friday night. That's the only reason I did it. So I'm going to break every tendency that we have Friday night, every one of them. Every tendency that they have over there, I'm breaking it this Friday night. So we're going to do opposite of it. So, no, I ran the reports on ourselves just to see where we're at, what we got to get better at as an offensive staff. Me and Clark spoke. And then you got to look at what's ahead and what needs to take place in the future, who we need to get healthy, what weeks do we have that we can get them ready to go. And because we're in a situation right now that we can't, it's a non-region game. We want to win this football game, but we can't put a kid's rest of the season in jeopardy over one football game. We're not going to do that ever. So some guys won't be dressing this Friday night. So, and some will that they probably think won't. So, but we're all right. We're excited and we're ready to play some football.
Coach Wilson, one more follow-up question. We'll wrap it up for the night. When you come over to Sylvania with Coach Vann, how long did it take you to learn all the? I mean, when I first went down in 1990 and started covering Sand Mountain football, I was like, this is a rivalry game. Well, the next week I went and covered somebody else, and it was a rivalry game. And then the next week I went, and it's a rivalry game. When you get on that mountain playing football, every week you're playing someone down the road, up the road, just from you. It doesn't take long to learn how intense Sand Mountain football is. What was your impression of Sand Mountain football, as we call it?
Yeah, the first thing I think of when I think of Sand Mountain football is just violence. You just put your hand in the dirt and let's just go. Kind of one of the biggest schools that obviously everybody talked about was 5. And when I get up here, I kind of realized that it's everywhere. That playing physical, put your hand in the dirt, football, downhill defense, it's all up and down this mountain. So it was very different for sure.
All right, Coach Vann, we do it every week. Let's talk about it. We got to fill up those stands with some green and gold this week. Folks got a chance to come out and make some noise and make a difference in this football game.
Yep, we need everyone to come out and fill the stands up. They're gonna have a big crowd. We need to have a big crowd. Our guys have something to prove. We haven't proven ourselves yet. We're going out every Friday night to prove somebody wrong. And obviously this Friday night, we've got to go out and prove thousands of people wrong. And that's our goal. If people's against us, that's what we want. We want to prove people wrong. But I can tell you this, there's 37 guys in that locker room that's worked their tail off since December to play in a game in the fall on a Friday night. And we get another opportunity to play on a Friday night this week. We're blessed to have that opportunity, and we're excited about it. I know the kids are. We need as much work as our guys put in. We need as many Sylvania people as we can get in the stands for a big Friday night football game against a really good football team who's probably going to end up have an opportunity to make a run in the playoffs. So we got to come out ready to go.
Coach, very well said. Coach Wilson, anyone you want to shout out to, recognize, talk about, say hello to? Any want to do?
Yeah, I'll give 3 shout outs. First one goes to Hannah Vann. Everything she
did. I heard from the show, Coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so shout out to her. She's been great for me. Number 2 is just our players. Kind of might get overlooked the work they put in. So shout out to them, and then shout out to the Big Orange this Saturday. Got a big game against Florida, so looking forward to that one. So,
Coach Wilson has just become my favorite person on the face of the earth.
That's it.
Every single time, Tennessee fans get all riled up and ready to go. You know what happens?
Hey, Coach, I'm gonna let you know that if we don't take that L Saturday, Howie might be doing the show by himself, because I'm gonna be the oldest guy on the goalpost Friday night tearing it down. So we'll just
see that's the difference. See that right there, Randall, is the difference. When Bama beats Florida, we walk out of the stadium, we get in our cars, and we go to the house, and that's what we expect. When Tennessee beats Florida, tear the goalpost down. Thank you, Randall. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Coach, we ain't been Alabama's level in about 2 decades. You got to let us have one here.
I know.
We're trying. I ain't seen it in my lifetime, so.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, we beat Vandy one night, so don't talk to me about it, because beating Vandy was big to me about 4 years ago.
Well, man, Alabama's got Vandy this week, so maybe they can find a way to win.
Oh, Lord.
Coach, repeat what you just said.
What?
About your lifetime.
They ain't been good in my lifetime. So they beat Florida once in the past 18 years.
And he's still a Tennessee fan. That's saying something.
Hey, I paid them student loans.
He looks forward to baseball and basketball every year. That's just what he does.
We basketball school. Well, after Saturday, maybe we won't be.
That's right.
But,
for sure.
It's going to be fun. Y'all look for me. I'm going to be in the same seats I've been sitting in for 30 years. So, Coach Vann, though, I think Coach Vann might go a little faster than Josh Heupel. He's getting off a play every 12 seconds. Coach Vann might be pushing his record there. I don't know how fast y'all get plays off, but
we ain't been lately.
So
we're going to this week. We're going to try to snap it every 5 seconds and break every tendency every 2 plays. So
you know what?
We'll get 19,000 formations. We may stay in empty all night.
Yeah.
I heard rumors y'all have been practicing wing tee under the center, side to side, no splits. Is that true?
So, yeah. Foot to foot, just what 5 does.
Yep.
Yeah, Coach Benefield. I was on the phone with Benefield all day today trying to figure out some of the play calls and why he calls them. And his response was, "Can't stop him."
Well, I told him
he didn't say that. It's a joke. But I did call him and ask him some of the stuff, because we're implementing it this week. We've been practicing it for 2 days now. Tomorrow maybe we get it a little better. We was rusty today, but it'll get better.
Maybe you can sneak practice in on Friday morning before school. We got to give a shout out here from me, JT KC Holmes, who did what we asked them to do, made a donation to Quarterback Club. We appreciate those guys for sponsoring us. Coach, we can use some more donations too. If anybody wants to jump on board the rest of the season. There's always room. We'll get you out there, get you shouted out. But appreciate the guys at JT and KC Homes. Next Thursday or next Tuesday, we'll be here and we'll talk about Pisgah, Sylvania. Coach Vann, you got anything to close us out tonight?
Go Rams.
Coach Wilson, got anything else?
Nothing else. Just thank y'all for what y'all do. This is a really cool little outlook for our players that y'all do. So we appreciate it.
Well, Coach Wilson, we have more fun than anybody does. And now that I found a Tennessee fan in Sylvania, Alabama, I feel bonded.
That's right. Go Orange.
For Howie Chaney, Coach Tyler Vann, Coach Wilson, we'll see you next Tuesday here on the Sylvania Ram football program.